Welcome back to the 2023 Gatekeeper Draft Review. Today's division will be the Islander Division. No idea why we call it the Islander Division. Once again, these names are preposterous, they're stupid, they're dumb. But then again, our leadership has been known to be those adjectives. So part of this Islander division has some very I like the guys in this division actually. Unlike the division yesterday where you have a bubblegum guy who can't get out of his own way and his trajectory in this league is just taking a nosedive. Um, we have guys in this division that are they're just good guys. So in this division we have the elder statesmen, which would be Jason Rimmer's Broke Dicks. He's always been a constant winner in this league. He hasn't won a title, but he usually generally manages his team very well. We also have Jose Ortiz, who runs the Hurricanes. He is one of the best people in this league, true friend, and once in a while we hook up on trades. Can't ask for more there. Also have Brian Eastman, who's a good bowler, bad fantasy baseball player, but he's a very good bowler, from what I understand. He lives in South Dakota, along with the fourth team, who is also from South Dakota, and his name is Kenny Tomac, I believe it is. He's part of the Sonic Hedgehogs, and we welcome him before we do this draft review. So, once again, we are sponsored by, what are we sponsored by today? Oh, for those that are like me, that you don't really love water unless it's flavored, I drink a seltzer water. It's a good workout drink. I like the bubbly stuff. So I'm a big fan of the seltzer water. This is a organic blueberry. You guys that are married, don't worry about it. Just be fat. Those of us that have to be single, kind of keep calories in check, is what we have. Anyways, so that's all we're sponsored by. This division doesn't have much, so I apologize. That's what we have. So let's get on to the review. I've reviewed all four teams in this division, and well, wasn't the best of drafts with this division. I expected a little bit more, but there's a clear-cut frontline team in this division for sure. So let's start with Jason, his Broke Dicks. He had a pretty below-average draft, quite honestly. Very surprised, Jason. You're usually better than this. Usually you stock up on pitching, hitters, guys you can trade. Don't see it. So looking at the notes, what I have for Broke Dicks is his offense is okay. It's okay. He's got Vlad. I love Jimenez at shortstop. So if you want to trade him, Jason, I'd be happy to take him off your hands. I love Jimenez. And of course, you have Alvarez of Houston, who's just a bomber. So you have three solid players right there. And when you're out of the playoff race, which I believe you will be, you'll have some trade chips. The problem I see with your team, if I could pull up your team really quick, was it wasn't very deep at all. Riamalto, solid catcher. Solid catcher. One of the things that I didn't like about your team was that you only had three guys that had over 500 bats. And your depth guys, 100, 200 at bats. And you have a lot of injury-prone guys. You have Chris Bryant, Sterling Marte, Ryan McMahon's been injured, Jorge Blanco. So I just see a lot of issues with filling those gaps once they get injured. So didn't love your the depth of your draft. But you do have some solid players. I think you'll end up trading Marte. Alvarez can be kept as a dynasty player. Um, I don't want to get into that stupid dynasty player, but he is keepable, if that's a word. Vlad is Vlad. You don't have a ton of speed, but you have enough speed. Marte, if he doesn't get injured, will be your guy. Again, your bench. I just don't see a lot there. Bryce Harper, he ain't coming back to what, July? So, yikes. And he's a fourth rounder. So, I love Bryce Harper, but he's injury prone also. As far as your pitching staff, and this is where I was disappointed with you, Jason. So, you have guys like Cortez, Peralta, Rasmussen, Stripling. You also have Glass now, but he's injured. Those other four guys had great or good to decent years last year. They don't have a history of that. So I don't expect them to, not all of them are going to duplicate what they did last year. And then your depth of your pitching staff is pretty bad. Cole Irwin, who is with no pressure in Oakland, now in Baltimore with a little bit more pressure. How is he going to react to that? Glasnow is a stud, but he's always injured. And then, I don't even know, this Ober guy, this Waldachuk guy. Come on, Jason. You're better than this. You're hanging out with Lucky too much, man. And, when you think about it, speaking of Lucky, because, he's on that downward trajectory. Jason, you haven't made the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. Now, you did win the division in 18 and 19. But before that, you didn't make the playoffs. So you're about 50% making the playoffs. 2 of the last 3 years, you've not. Disappointed in you, man. I expect more from you. I expect you to be at the top of your division every year. I don't see that this year unless you make some trades. So let's go on to our second team. And for whatever reason, I got our boy Eastman up here, Rampage. Now, Eastman, he's a character. He's allegedly a good bowler. So is Rhodes, but Rhodes wins. And you don't. In fact, you have not made the playoffs in 4 of the last 5 years. In 3 of those years, you were in last place. You did win the division in 19. You won a division. But you have been awful. So the thing we all know about Brian is he loves his own players. He would marry all his players. This is a true fact. And as I switch to his team, this is where Lucky is correct. You are an outage because your management of your team is not great. But looking at your roster, look, you got Adley Rutschman at catcher, coming off a rookie year. Wasn't exactly great. He does walk a lot. 13 homers and 400 at bats. I don't know, man. Nate Lowe, Jose Rujas, Gunnar Henderson, O'Neill, Cruz. You got a lot of young guys. And you have exactly one guy that's had 500 or more bats. I'm not going to count Hae-Sung Kim of the Padres because where's he going to play? He's not getting 500 bats this year unless Tatis and Mochito go down. I know it's Mojado. And you got a bunch of guys that have 300 or less at bats, dude. Bro, not good. Not good at all. You do have Mike Trout. Mike Trout's been injured a lot lately. So your outfield right now consists of Byron Buxton, always hurt. Mike Trout, always hurt. Tyler O'Neill, batted .228 last year, 300 at bats. Will Myers, not a full-time player. And you got Gunnar Henderson at third, had 100 at bats last year. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here, Brian? Not a good draft, and you got horrific depth. Um, you don't even have any starter caliber backups. Well, Haesung Kim maybe if one guy gets hurt. Yastrzemski's seen his better days. Newt Barr, he's on Team Japan. I mean, where's he going to play? 228 batter as it is. See, your offense is not good, Brian. So Rampage, not good. We go down to your pitching. Well, oh, you do have Altuve. I forgot. You do have Altuve. Fuck him. He got hit on the hand. Nobody gives a rat's ass about Altuve. So he's fucked for the year. You'll be lucky to get 300 bats out of him. So your starting rotation. Okay, you have the possibility of some good things here possible. Does Lance Lynn bounce back? So far in the WC B, whatever it is, you know what it is, great series. He's pitched okay. Manoah's a stud. Syndergaard, nope. Logan Webb, can he repeat himself? Probably. I think Woodruff, I expect him to get traded because him and the Brewers have a little bit of an issue going on. And since Edwin Diaz is out for the year, Bednar is your closer. You're fucked. And your backup starting pitchers are garbage. You don't have anything. Nothing. I don't care who you pick up. Nothing. So your depth of your pitching is whack. And you know Syndergaard is getting hurt. Woodruff only pitched 150 innings last year. We'll see what he does this year. Manoah had 196. He's a stud. Lance Lynn, 121 innings last year. He gets dinged up. Not good. So again, depth overall for your team, Brian, is not good. And that's pretty much what I got up there. So follow the script there. So Rampage, not really disappointed in your draft. You kind of suck as it is at this thing. You probably talked to Steve's too much. You probably have read his stupid formula book, which has been a failure to him. Might as well be a failure to you. Kenny's going to get that failure too. That little formula book that's done nothing. So yeah, not looking good. Let's go to Sonic, another expansion team. As we go to his roster, he has yet to figure out how to adjust his roster. He's just got it all as one. So obviously, South Dakota education not only works for the other two goofballs there, but it's working for Kenny too. Between the three of them, they might actually be able to put together 3 sentences. So, and have a thought process. So looking at Sonic Hedgehog's team, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. His offense sucks. There's no way of sugarcoating it. It was a horrific draft. He obviously doesn't understand what we're doing here. He kept Harrison Bader from me. I mean, okay. He's got Tommy Edman. Edman slumped off toward the second half of last year. I had him on my team. He didn't actually steal very many bases in the second half. Kind of bummed me out. He only ended up with 32 stolen bases. I want to say he had 25 at like all-star break. So we'll see. He was better as a second baseman than he was a shortstop. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Your catching position, I don't know, man. I mean, you got nothing there. Christian Walker's a decent player. Edman, you have Chapman from Toronto as your third baseman. Okay. Your shortstops are horrific. You have Elvis Andrus and Brandon Crawford. Possibly, no. I don't even know what to say. You just got a bad lineup, dude. You have Bader in the outfield, Kalanick from Seattle. Ozuna, who's a woman beater. I know you try to be smart and think you knew what you're doing when you threw Toglia in there, a UCLA graduate. He's not going to see the majors this year. He's striking out too much in spring training. So you do have Juan Soto. You'll end up trading him for something. Um, but Juan's got to bounce back, quite honestly. So your offense is pure garbage. You'll be lucky to win 2 games a week at offense. Now pitching, you're a little bit better in pitching. You got Aaron Nola, who I like. Blake Snell, you're going to have to watch when you pitch him. You can't just pitch him every week, although you're going to have to. He'll give up those 6 runs in 3 innings. He barely gets through the 5th inning. Too many pitches. But he can be good at times. As far as Talion of the Cubs, he should be pretty good for you. Your Quiddy, he's okay. You got Daniel Bard on your team as a reliever. Get that fucker out of here. You almost ruined the USA's chances of winning. You do have Duran. I don't know if he's a closer for Minnesota. Your pitching's okay. You have a little bit of depth. You have guys you can plug in there. So I could see you winning 3 or 4 games in pitching, 2 on offense. So you're going to be a 5-win type guy every week. And you're not as bad as Capital Gains. I think you'll win more games than him, but not by much. But you did a shitty job. Whoever showed you how to do this thing in South Dakota, they fucked you. Your team sucks. And then we go to, let me see what I had also over here. Oh, you did have 6 guys with 500 at bats. Props to you for that. Yeah, the rest of it's pretty much the same. So let's go to Canes as the last team. My boy Canes. This guy understands me. Unlike a few of you. He understands what integrity is. He's a model of integrity. Unlike what's going on in South Dakota, where that dude is just failed as integrity. He's fallen off the map with integrity. So I did see they made a trade either yesterday or today. So good for those guys making a trade. So I look at Canes, and I see nothing but greatness here. He's a fantastic manager, knows how to run his team. He's made the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. He's actually won the division 1 year. But he had the other year that he made the playoffs, he had a ridiculously good record. Just the top team had a better record. You know, his lineup is solid. He's got this Aaron Judge guy. I don't know how he got him, but solid pickup there. Robert, Happ, Brantley, solid outfield. He has Wander Franco, who's a stud. Freddie Freeman. His catching's a little light. Cronenworth's an underrated stud. And he's got a little bit of depth in the he actually doesn't have a lot of depth. Let me take that back. Let me not schmooze him too much. Eli De La Cruz, Jose. You know how I feel about the pick. That's a dumbass pick, buddy. That's a dumbass pick. Now's your chance to drop him. You can just drop him. Get him out of your life. He's not going to see the majors for 2 more years. Just drop him now. He's wasting your roster spot. You're going to be a first-place team. Get that garbage off your roster. While you're at it, you might as well get rid of that Cespedes guy. He's never going to be called up by the White Sox. But I like your offense. Now, with the trade yesterday, you bolstered your pitching staff even more. You got Darvish, Kershaw, Kopech, Cabrera, Carrasco, Gore. Nick Martinez can blow it. He sucks. But he is on the Padres, and we love Padres more than Dodgers. Pretty solid rotation. You got a few guys in the injured column coming up eventually. your roster is pretty solid. You could tweak it here and there. Get rid of that guy from Cincinnati. Why would you want any red on your team anyways? People who root for the Reds are stupid. And frankly, they might as well be. I don't even know why they don't kick the Reds out of the baseball. They're a useless program, useless organization. The fans are useless. Just a bad aura about Major League Baseball when it comes to the Reds. They have a dude that gambled on baseball. Come on. The Reds are a disaster. Um, so, anyways, I see the Canes had a very solid draft. So, when you look at the three drafts, I would say that Canes had the best draft. I would have said that Rampage had, wow, Mexico just hit a 3-run shot off of Sasaki. Boom, boom, Yuri ass. Look at, he's in shock. 3-run shot. Anyways, um, Rampage had a really good draft, a decent draft. I don't say really good. His was a good draft, not a great draft. The problem with Rampage, he's the guy in your fantasy football league that has to draft a kicker too high or defense too high, thinking he's going to be the first one. Well, he drafted Edwin Diaz real high. Oops. Oops. And then he was talking shit later in the draft when he said, see, you should have got your closer when you had your chance. Oops. Insert foot, chew vigorously. Typical South Dakotan. Dumb. So, anyways, I would have said Rampage had the second best draft in the division, but he didn't. Just because he drafted a closer 7th round. So Jason gets that honor. And where is my thing? Sonic, you get the Febreze stinky draft of the division. Not your fault. You weren't taught well from your goofballs in your state that tried to get you in this league. They fucked you. But you had a pretty bad draft. So when you look at everything, this is how I see the division shaking out. Obviously, Kane's going to win this one going away. Jason will finish second, just like last year. He finished second in my division. He was second, but he was really a third-place team. Rampage would be a third-place team. Like, they're going to be first and then be down here for those guys. And then Sonic, who's going to have a pretty bad record. So they'll clean up on Sonic, so their division record will look a little bit better than they really are because they get the expansion teams in them. This in the Valley Division. So they'll pile up wins against two teams that just suck. So let's not forget about that. They get to pile it up. While teams like me, I got to fight through all this other crap. So when you see teams like yesterday's teams were, boy, I already forgot who the teams were. I know it was Zero Dick. Lucky had a sorry ass team. Oh, and Dominators. They'll pile up on capital gains and get all those wins. It's the same thing with this division. Although at least Hurricanes has a real team. So the good thing about Jason is he usually can somehow get his team better, but look in the last 2-3 years, he hasn't been very good. So we'll see if he can stop playing with bubblegum cards with Lucky and stop sniffing that stuff, stop sniffing all that stuff. He should probably get as far away from Lucky as possible because it's starting to rub off the bad. And you could already see that the South Dakota connection, they're rubbing off on each other. They all suck over there. So best thing to do is don't rub off on each other. So the only ones that rub off good are me and Kane. I mean, we continue to win every year. So with all the cheating going around us, we still win the right way. So it should be Canes by a lot, then Broke Dicks, Outage, and then Sonic Hedgehog. Really disappointed in Jason's draft. Hopefully he can turn it around, get his shit together. And by the way, Jason, how is it that you can come up with these gifts in like a matter of seconds? Bullshit that we all don't want to see, but you got it out. and yet you were taking so long to make a draft pick. Like, what was going on there? What are you doing? Also, I did fail to mention. Let me see if I can find it. Shoot, it's going to show his flashlight. Oh well. Anyways, that'll be it for the Islander division. Only God knows why it's called the Islander division. I know Kane is some Cuban descent in him, but I'm not sure if that matters. You got two dudes from South Dakota. I don't know. Whatever. Till next time. Peace out.